Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I have a new car review for you guys today. More specifically, my new car, a 2022 Jeep Grand Cherokee Laredo. Had it for a little over a year now, and it was probably the cheapest one for sale when I bought it. And so I want to take you guys through it today. I figured more adult car. This is some boosted SRT4. We're going to do a little bit different format today. So I'm going to take you through 4 separate points of this car. We're going to go through all of the interior features today, which is what I care about the most. We're going to go through all of the exterior features of this car and kind of the visual cosmetics of it. Then we're going to get in it, talk about how it drives, and then my favorite part at the end, was it worth the money? So stay tuned. Alrighty guys, so starting off with the interior of 2022 Jeep Grand Cherokee. I guess I want to preface this by saying this is a base Laredo package with the, I think they call it the Technology Group 1 option. So everything I'm going to list right now was an option on this car. Everything else that I don't speak about that you see comes factory on these. These cars, like I said, I've said this for a long time, base models these days don't quite mean what it used to back in like 2003. That was a base model. So in the technology package, what you get is the electronic lift gate, you get the heated steering wheel and heated seats up front, and you get the wireless charging pad. Everything else comes as standard on this car. So like I said, so really well optioned out car, and we'll dive into that now. Getting into the 22 Grand Cherokee, you realize touch points were a very big talking point for FCA when they designed this car. Everything you touch and interact with on a daily basis is very nice. The steering wheel, the door handle, the shifter, the armrest, everything feels like a premium product. Not to say the old Grand Cherokees weren't nice, they were. My brother's got one. You can tell they just took everything kind of to the next level in here. Starting off with the door panel, you've got a nicely leather wrapped armrest. You have this nice like piano gray. You'll see piano black is kind of a theme in these, which we'll talk about later is something I dislike about it, but we'll get to that in a little bit. On the door panels, it's fine. You've got this nice like gray piano black that kind of morphs into the rest of the dashboard that is leather wrapped, this gray kind of piano running across the entire length of the car, and even continues on into the back seats of the car. In front of you, you have a very big, and I mean very, very big, leather wrapped steering wheel. And when I mean big, I mean wide. This is a massive, massive steering wheel, but very in control feeling, so it kind of goes along with the whole scheme of the car. A little bit going on in the steering wheel, but overall it's a very nice looking design. You've got your cruise control and your adaptive cruise control on the right, and you have your phone and all of your screen menu buttons over here on the left. You got your up and down paddles on the back for the transmission. There's very, very tiny little like quarter half paddles, and you really, because the steering wheel is so big, you really have to kind of reach your hands around to kind of get your middle finger on them. So that's, you know, something that's not something you're going to use a whole lot on a big SUV like this, but something to note. And then your typical, you have your volume and tune knobs on the back. Super helpful as always. Love that. I had that in my last Jeep, loved it, and loved it in this Jeep as well. Moving forward, you've got one of my favorite parts of the whole car, a 10.3 inch all digital gauge cluster. If you haven't figured this out from all my videos yet, I'm kind of a tech nerd, and so this another big selling point for me on the car. You've got pretty good configurability too. You've got kind of your typical analog gauges is standard on this. You can go into kind of a digital display if you want that. I honestly never use it. You've got kind of a main screen map menu where you can scroll in between a few different gauges, whatever you want. If you want, you know, fuel economy, all your engine temps, oil pressures, stuff like that's in there. One downside to this with the Laredo, that again, you know, little things that I wish I spent money on, sort of, is you can't get your maps onto the gauge cluster. With the smaller infotainment system, you do need the bigger upgraded navigation unit for that. Do kind of wish I had gotten that. Is it a deal breaker? No. Do I care about it or think about it? No. Am I just thinking about it in the context of now because I'm making a YouTube video? Yes. For my day-to-day life, I have never longed for it outside of talking about it right now. So, do you need it? No. Is it kind of cool to have? Yeah. Is the digital screen cool, and it's cool that it's standard in all Jeep Grand Cherokees? Yes, that's very nice. Moving down into kind of the center portion, across here you have all of your different buttons for your nefarious things, your auto start, your lane keep assist, your parking assist, your sport mode, traction control. All these things come standard, which is really cool. So adaptive cruise and lane keep is standard on all cars. That's sweet. So like I said, so I do have the base models that does come with the 8.4 inch Uconnect screen. Again, works just fine. This is the one thing I do wish I had. The maps would be a cool perk of it, but I really do wish I had the bigger screen, just because, like I said, I am a tech guy working within a budget. When I bought this car, happened to be the smaller screen. Again, on a daily basis, it's not that bad. Do wish I kind of had it. But as far as going into the screen itself, it's fine. Honestly, you live on CarPlay. If you have CarPlay and you've had CarPlay, you know that's pretty much where you live. Home screen, that's what it looks, never really go into it. You have your media button, you have your air conditioning buttons. You can control everything for your climate control on the screen if you wanted to. Thankfully, Jeep put a bunch of physical buttons down here too, so you can have CarPlay up and mess with all of your air conditioning and whatnot. It's 93 in Houston, so really that never changes a whole lot. It just, the air conditioning stays on. Down, you do have a whole lot of power in this car, which is cool. You've got two USB-C ports, you got two USB-C ports, two regular USB ports. You have a cigarette style plug to the right, your wireless charging pad. Again, that was an option in the center. Kind of a cool feature, a little bit of a gimmick. Don't use it very often. Every now and again I will. Honestly, what I use it for is I just keep my AirPods in there. And so I plug my phone up to my cord whenever I want to, but the AirPods stay in there. That way they're always charged. Coming down a little further, you've got your, dial shifter, which honestly, people complain about it. It's fine. I've gotten used to it. Then you've got your traditional Jeep. You've got your 2-level storage up here, a shallow one up here, and then a much deeper pocket right here. Not going to show you either one because I've got a lot of crap in there. Moving on to the back seat. Again, a Grand Cherokee is one of the bigger 2-row SUVs, but you have a whole heck of a lot of room back there. I am 6'1" and a big guy, and I keep my seat really far back. I'm all leg is what I'm getting at. And so me sitting behind myself, I have enough room. It's tight, but I have enough room. I've only ever ridden in the back of this once. Fiance was driving. She's 5'0". I have a lot of room like that. But you're not stark for amenities in the back. I mean, it's thin. Just your simple in the center, I guess, console. You've got your typical 2 AC vents, but it's also nice you have a traditional plug outlet back there, and then you have, again, two USB-C ports and 2 USB ports. To the very back of the Grand Cherokee, you have plenty of cargo space for all kinds of things. Recently just got back from a trip. We had 2 massive check bags, 2 carry-ons, 2 backpacks, and we still had space for more stuff. For as many people as you can get in this car, you can get the luggage for it. I have carried plywood in here. I've carried sheets of sheet metal in here. Kind of messed up the back of it doing that. Sandbags, you can put anything you want in the back of this thing, especially when you fold the seats down. You have a ton of cargo area. Was kind of a reason why I bought this. I was kind of going back and forth between this and a newer Silverado or some kind of truck, and the price point just didn't really make sense for me to get into the truck game. If this gave me the majority of what I would need, and it also gave me all these niceties that like a base Silverado custom wouldn't, it just kind of seemed like the obvious choice for me. Plus, it's quieter and it's a lot more comfortable. Next, moving on to the outside of the Grand Cherokee. And man, the outside and the inside, visually, the way this thing looks, that's what sold me on this thing initially. It's so Range Rover-y with its big, thin, taillight in the back, and especially if you jump up to a Summit with the black roof. Still not over the black roof yet. I may still wrap my roof black. But just, again, it's like, I'm a big Range Rover guy. I like the way they look, and these command that same presence, just kind of running around. The one thing you will notice different about the outside of mine is I have Summit wheels on mine. I found them on Facebook off a Summit Reserve, and figured they should go on my car. What does come with this, and I'll post a picture up there, is the factory 17-inch wheels, which don't look good, if we're being honest. Again, base model life. you get base model wheels. And so one of the first things that I did was replace those, and very happy that I did. All right, so getting into the 2022 Grand Cherokee, a little bit of a bit mixed bag of nuts when you're going to talk about how it drives. So, is amazing and new and aesthetic as the outside and the inside look. Getting in here, it drives very much like a last generation Grand Cherokee. Makes a lot of sense. You essentially have the exact same powertrain as comes standard in the old Grand Cherokee. 3.6 liter Pentastar V6, ZF 8-speed. Honestly, they work great together. I have never longed for power. The transmission's never done anything that I haven't wanted it to do. It shifts plenty quick, it's very smooth, and it's kind of always been perfect. You know, I will say one of the only things that, you know, my fiance and father-in-law have pointed this out is it is quite a noisy engine up front. You know, this thing, like I said, I use the word Range Rover, and I kind of attribute or liken it to that level of luxury. The noise that comes from that engine up front is, you know, it's not quite that. Say it doesn't drive smooth, because it does drive very smooth, but let me give you guys a little acceleration here, and you guys can, you know, this is has a little bit of a truck note to it, if that makes sense. Again, it's not bad. It's something I don't notice anymore. But just, you know, still very nice car, but still just a very traditional V6 and 8-speed in there. So, you know, something that you just, you know, just to note. The rest of this car, the way it drives, I cannot rave it about it enough. It is an extremely comfy car. The seats are extremely comfy. It's very quiet. These windows are double pane, so it's very quiet in here, especially on the freeway. Done a lot of road trips, just got done doing a 2,000-mile road trip from Texas to Florida and back, and had zero complaints about it. There's no drone, there's no big tire roar. Even with the 20s on it, it rides really, really well. And it's just a very, very nice place to be in here. The air conditioning works fantastic. The heated seats and heated steering wheel are actually very nice in the winter. And the stereo, and this isn't the Bang & Olufsen stereo or anything great like that. However, for a base model stereo, it sounds fantastic. Never had a complaint about it. Sounds great, great bass, great mids, great lows. And like I said, it's, you know, for a base model car, dude, I find this is one of those cars that, you know, all base models, like I say, are punching above their weight class a little bit, and this one really is. And I can only imagine what an Overland or what a Summit would be. But just sitting in this Laredo, 2 thumbs up from me. So because this started off primarily as a sports car channel, let's give the beans. Whoa! Nice! I didn't even know the gauge just flashed red before it shifts up. How sporty is that, dog? That's so cool. Anyways, yeah, look, I learned something new today. So if any of y'all learned something new, that's great. I did too. All right, let's put a bow on this thing. Let's kind of talk about value and some money, and would I buy this car again? So again, Jeep is trying to move up market a little bit, and with that comes a little bit of a price. So I paid right at $39,000 for this car. It ticked right over, it was like $4,100 or something like that with the technology package. And so it kind of, if you're in a $40,000 range, this is probably gonna be on the higher end of that, especially kind of to your comparable Kia products, and even honestly, you know, your comparable, you know, American products too, kind of, you know, think Equinox, Explorer, things like that. Tucson, kind of those cars are going to be what you're probably cross-shopping this with, and that's when you're going to have to make your own decision. I wanted a Grand Cherokee. It warranted the price for me. Is this any better car than a Hyundai Tucson? No, it is not. All the different reports would suggest that it's worse, but it's what I like more. Fiance has a Tucson. We're going to end up using that in another video, but so again, you know, is it dramatically overpriced compared to those cars? I guess, you know, maybe. It just depends. for me, it was money well spent. It's a car that I enjoy driving. It's a car that I am very proud to own. Like I said, I bought it in June of 2022, and so I've got 24,000 miles on it, and it's been essentially 24,000 worry-free miles. It hasn't given me a single issue. It hasn't done anything weird. I haven't had to take it in for anything, and you know, I've still got a good long 60,000 mile factory warranty on it. So it's not something that I'm really worried about right now. I know Jeeps tend to not have the, I guess, best reliability ratings. You know, most new cars have gotten pretty good. I haven't heard a whole lot of weird things on this one. Had a couple weird recalls that I never actually had to deal with, but I got them taken care of anyway. And like I said, 39, 40 grand. It's a, you know, pretty good ship for 40 grand. You know, everything's expensive these days. And would I buy this car again? Absolutely. I love this car. I've driven a few other things, and there's nothing that I want more. I've sat in a couple of the nicer ones, drove a Wagoneer, loved them all. Got back in my Grand Cherokee and was super happy. This is a car I'll keep for a very long time. This is a car that will definitely pay off. And the only thing that could replace this in the future is either going to be, go away. Only thing that could replace this car in the future is going to be the new Grand Cherokee, or maybe an SRT version sometime in the future. But love my Grand Cherokee. It's going to be with me for a long time. If you guys have any questions, let me know. Let me know what you guys think about this whole Foursquare method of reviewing cars. I don't think we're going to do it with the performance stuff. Maybe we will. Definitely going to do it with the normal stuff. I enjoy filming some normal cars. Because that's what I drive every day, is normal cars. And that's what most of you guys drive every day too. I know you guys aren't driving, you know, drag pack Corvettes every day. If you are, more power to you. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.